Yee-haw!
And you're supposed to be a trained singer.
Hey guys, welcome to Art Takes. And today, Art was feeling adventurous and I'm sitting on the control board side. I'll be sure to make him regret this before the day is over.
Already. I'm already regretting it.
And there's Art, and let's see if I can flip the lower, now I even give it his lower third, you know. I'm going to make
fantastic.
him wonder what's up.
Hey, look, my name's spelled right.
Yeah, can you imagine I spelled the name right? I didn't use spell check on my phone because it would have got it wrong.
You used spumoni. I thought that was a vegetable.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Now, as always, I'm about to swear. You can't fix stupid, but ignorance is a lifestyle choice.
Yeah. And all you folks like me, remember, choose ignorance. We're going to become a protected class, you know, like the trans people are. Well, I'm starting a new thing. Smart people becoming ignorant. We are trans mentally people that choose ignorance, and we'll get... Oh.
Let me explain something about that to you. A lot of this protected class stuff, I found out, and this is weird, but a lot of it literally is no longer applicable after you turn 68. Oh. I don't know why, but that is a law, is that after a certain point, you're not at a protected class anymore. It doesn't matter.
So I only got 3 more years to do it, so I better do it. Well, you know how slow things go in Washington. If I do it now, it'll probably take place in 88. So, oh well. But anyway,
I thought you were past that.
Art did tell me we were taking the show to new heights. So I brought my oxygen mask. But then he says no, but I brought it already, so it's on the table. You know, I was trying to figure out how I can hook this up to a nitrous oxide tank, you know, and then I could get really wild and woolly.
Okay, John.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to be on nitrous oxide.
Well,
you already fit in. And by the way, I have a few little jokes written by my friend Bill Mahalik.
Okay.
Who does this basically as a hobby, but as a living. He has made a little bit of money at it. And I mentioned to him, he and I have worked together on a few projects. I mentioned I was going to use a few of these. He says, oh, please do. He said, just be sure that you mention his name. And by the way, he is on Facebook. I'll have to look up how to spell his name, unless it's right here. It's Bill's Pills. And these are our daily dosage. These are not the ones on Facebook.
Is it Bill with 2 L's?
Yeah.
Okay, give us a Bill's pill.
You know what? You fell out to bed on your head, and you just ain't right. This is the one I really, really like. Now, these are true. He takes these from the headlines, and like we do, he adds his little spin on it. For the 4th consecutive time, a pit bull won the election for mayor of Rabbit Hash, Kentucky, beating a cat, a chicken, a donkey, and a little boy. Bill says, how sad, even that little town had a better slate of candidates than the last presidential election. Personally, to me, it sounds like the slate of the last national election.
Now, Rabbit Hash, I guess, Rabbit Hash, they feed the rabbit a lot of marijuana and then they smoke him afterwards? Is that why it's Rabbit Hash?
You do realize that marijuana and hashish are not the same thing.
Ignorance is a lifestyle choice.
At least that's what I was always told. Personally, I don't do any of that stuff. I got enough problems naturally.
Well, I figured out, you know, I quit drinking, and, you know, I actually walked around the house looking for my glasses, and I remembered where I set them. So I want to market, bless you, Art.
Sorry.
I want to market the, you know, non-beer, you know, maybe I can sell non-beer and you know, and if you drink this stuff, you don't forget where you're going, you know, but
anything that isn't beer is not beer.
Well, and it tastes better too.
Yeah, you just keep drinking that so you
And
can be
it's-
quiet for a little while.
It's low calorie. Okay, give me another one, Art.
Okay. On June 29th, 1929, the first high-speed wind tunnel is completed at Langley Field in California. It was actually the second high-speed wind tunnel because the first one existed in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, you're right about that.
God. In a recent newspaper editorial, a North Korean official said that Donald Trump is a psychopath. The comment is, that's disgusting. Once again, more classified information is being leaked from the White House.
Yeah, and that's probably why he gets along with Kim Jong-un. They're both cut from the same cloth.
No doubt you're correct. Now, on this day in history, June 23rd, President Nixon and H.R. Haldeman agreed to use the CIA to cover up the Watergate break-in. That was clearly an abuse of power. Presidents are only supposed to use the CIA to cover up their affairs. Now, I don't know if you ever heard that song. You ever hear that song? Haldeman, Ehrlichman, Mitchell and Dean? I'm sure it's
No.
on YouTube somewhere. Seriously.
Oh.
There was a song like it. Haldeman, Ehrlichman, Mitchell and Dean. Sorry. I know. I can't sing. I'm not a trained singer.
that was fun.
I'm a trained non-singer.
That
In
was
fact,
fun.
I sing solo. Solo, you can't hear me. Oh, here's a more topical one. This weekend, New Jersey Governor Chris Christie and his family had sole use of a beach he had closed due to the state's financial crisis. Usually he just keeps the crowds away by shutting down lanes on the highway. On the other hand, he's so freaking big, he probably filled the whole beach anyway.
Shamu. We're just lucky the shark from Jaws didn't come by and eat him.
I don't think the shark from Jaws could eat that much. Let's see. You know what? Let's keep going. Most of these they're not really funny for the kind of funny we do.
Oh,
So,
They're
or the
just-
kind of funny we try to do.
the funny, strange.
And
we do.
I have to apologize. Unfortunately, the chicken had a week off, so there'll be no chicken awards this week.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing I found out, and I thought maybe you guys could help me, is that there's National Public Radio, and then there's also American Public Radio, and they both get money from the government. So, I thought maybe they were both divisions of National Public Radio, and since they're so egalitarian, they call
Egalitarian.
it egalitarian.
You had trouble with that word one other time, I remember.
Well, I guess I'm not egalitarian. That they formed these
Or educated.
or educated either. But that way they can have more than one CEO, and they can spread the wealth around. So that's kind of nice.
Well, we're part of SSR Radio. Semi-senile rambling. Make your donations too.
Yeah. And
For your complaints, call 555.
so if you do know who else is on a public radio thing, let us know, because actually I'd like to go down there and apply to get our show on, because I'm all dressed up and nowhere to go. See, I got my knee pads on, and
See, I thought you were trying for a job promotion.
yeah, if I can get a producer at NPR to put us on the show.
Don't hold that leg up too long. It might cause permanent injury.
Yeah, well, he's actually worried because I'm part dog, and you know what happens when a dog holds his leg up too long. And actually, there's more truth to that rumor, because I saw the color range that people see, and then below it I saw the color range
Right,
that
I saw that too.
dogs see. And there's certain shades of red and green I have trouble with. I am part dog. I guess I was a werewolf, or I don't know.
Most people don't know it, but because I was really into the dogs and the cats and showing them, because anyway, I stumbled across the fact Most people don't realize the dog that turn on its owners the most are collies. Not pit bulls, not Dobermans, collies. Partly because genetically, the collie is closest to the wolf of all dogs. Interesting little fun fact, huh?
Wow. The ones that, I don't know about those tricolored collies turning on their owners though. They got rank. They keep the sheep. All the sheep are lower rank than them, so they don't have to worry about being told what to do.
Well, you're talking about a border collie.
Yeah, the border collie. They're what do you call it? They're middle management. They manage the sheep. Okay, Art, take it away.
They manage the sheep. Oh, boy. We'll be auditioning for new people very soon, I think.
Yeah, actually, there is an audition going on Thursday at On TV.
Oh, that's correct. ON TV in Lake Orion on Joslyn Road, starting at 11 o'clock.
Yeah, 11.
We'll be looking for people possibly to perform in WRNG TV. That's a parody news show. Sometimes we're actually funny on there. Not so much here, but on there.
Yeah. Well, see, they don't let me on air too much, so because they said they got to be funny.
Well, the wonderful thing, people have to realize, no matter how bad you think you are, you can always be the best bad example. People can say, wow, that's a really bad example of that. Well, if you can't really be good at something, well, then be bad at it and be the best bad example you can be.
Yeah.
And then, the worst part about that? That's the kind of reasoning you learn if you went to Jesuit high school.
Jesuit high school. Oh, I thought maybe I'd learn how to, chase the ladies and then get a absolution, That'd be the only way I'd want to go to Jesuit high school.
I don't know. I don't know much about absolution. I do know about absolute. A couple of shots of that and a cold beer, and my goodness gracious, that delightful drink. Very refreshing.
And I'll tell you what, if I drink some beer, I can forget where my glasses are so bad that I got to ask somebody else.
Or you forget where you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, put the camera back on me. I got a few of these I got to point out to people here. For example, Chicago, Illinois. Metra, which I have no idea, that a new superhero that I haven't read the comic book for. Metra will soon offer express train service for people who live in Chicago and reverse commute to work in Lake County. Now, that makes no sense to me at all. How do you reverse commute? You go in the reverse commute going back home? Well, think of it.
No, the jobs are, the jobs have fled Chicago because of the tax burden, that they're going to the suburbs where the jobs are. I think unfunded pension mandates for Chicago is now $33 billion.
John, a little something I learned years ago. Don't confuse the issue with facts. Right? There's a reason that we don't have any mature content on this show, and you're trying to put some in there. This is weird. Beverly Shores, Indiana. A preservation group is offering a lease for a futuristic home along Lake Michigan that was featured at Chicago's 1933 World's Fair. Well, if it was futuristic in 1933, wouldn't that still make it old-timey by today's standards? Question mark. Indiana Landmarks says any party willing to restore the famed House of Tomorrow will be offered a 50-year lease in a partnership with the Indiana Dunes National Park. Now, what has the Indiana Dunes National Park got to do? Is that where they put the Home of Tomorrow? In the sand dunes? Did the sand dunes slowly creep over on it?
Well, that 50-year lease, that might be pretty good. If I restored it, I could live there, and then in the day I could just show it as a tourist attraction, and at night, you lock the doors and you sleep there. Look, you wouldn't pay property tax, all that crap.
Well, if you think about it, what you got to do is somehow you manage to talk them into giving you the lease, right? Then you run out to a construction site and you steal a whole bunch of those salt horses with the blinking lights on them. And then when you're ready to go to bed, you pull all the curtains, you put your salt horses out with the blinking lights, keep people away, then you pull the curtains. sleep like a baby. Plus, because it's a state landmark, the police are going to watch you more closely.
Yeah, and if the police are going to watch you, the thing to do is always make sure you have some pastries around and some coffee. They'll take care of you, believe me, trust me on that.
Are you trying to say that police officers enjoy eating a whole lot of donuts?
Well, they're adrenaline junkies, that everything's boring, and then some guy's trying to beat you up or shoot you. That gives you a big spurt of adrenaline, and when they don't get adrenaline, it's donut time, because that gives you a sugar rush.
Oh God, I gotta hit a couple more of these. Don't forget to watch the clock, by the way.
Yeah.
Topeka, Kansas. Lawmakers are considering a proposal that would require election officials to notify voters before they throw out ballots because of signature problems. Now, I noticed not a word is being said about the additional ballots they throw in to support their particular candidate.
Yeah, that's the truth. That's the truth. They're getting crazy out there, and I don't know what's going to happen. I just hope George Washington and Ben Franklin reincarnate and save us.
Well, nowadays they probably put them in jail. No, I mean, seriously, if you think about how much the world has changed, I think it's crying shame that, of course, don't forget that the founding fathers were all relatively rich at the time, too, so maybe they'd buy their way out of things. Frankfort, Kentucky. Lawmakers have rejected a proposal to raise the state's smoking age to 21. They think 8 years old is old enough.
Yeah, wow, 8 years old, Well, hopefully they aren't letting them drink that age.
Well, and I could be wrong about this, but I always heard that in England, in like Ireland, the British Isles, etc., there was no actual drinking age. It was just you had to be big enough to see over the bar. So all the bars are like 2 feet tall.
Well, it's 2 feet tall for the leprechauns, the little people.
I don't think the little people would enjoy being called leprechauns anymore. Oh, wait a minute. Portland, Maine. The state's lucrative baby eel industry will likely face tighter controls this year designed to thwart poaching. Does that mean that people are going in there and they're stealing baby eels to raise as their own?
Yeah. They're stealing baby eels,
Babel?
and they're raising them. I need the Tower of Babel so I can speak the language.
Babel beals.
But and then they're selling them as full grown. There's actually, I was reading a magazine. Yeah, I can read, but I don't read out loud because I can't pronounce the words. And
I bet you a lot of pretty pictures in there, right?
Baby eels sold for either $1,000 a pound or $10,000 a pound because there's such a market for eating them.
Well, I'll tell you what, they certainly aren't going to get any competition on this side of the table. I mean, I've had, been in foreign countries and stuff. I've had tasted, can't talk, but I can tasted just about everything that people produce. Some of it I liked. Some of it I didn't like. I liked a lot more of it, obviously, than I didn't like. But eels just don't really appeal to me. I'd rather have earthworms.
I guess earthworms are easier to come by, but eels, for the most part, it's difficult to get them to reproduce in captivity. They have to go to a spot in the Atlantic Ocean to find where they reproduce and then catch the babies. Can you imagine that, can you imagine if cows wouldn't reproduce unless they were in a special place? Hardly anybody'd be eating beef.
Oh, God. Well, that's one way of looking at it. Moving on. Boston, Massachusetts. The master of the American horror novel has donated $1.25 million to the Masters of American Genealogical Research. Stephen King and his wife, Tabitha, made the gift through their foundation to the New England Historic Genealogical Society. Having seen him, he wants to find out who to blame. Yeah. Thank you, John. I wasn't sure you'd get that.
Yeah, you. Well, no, that was just charity laugh, and also to hide the fact that I didn't understand it.
Well, hey, I'll take charity. I got no problem with that at all. St. Cloud, Minnesota. City police have begun using an app from Vitals Aware Services that helps them navigate interactions with people with disabilities, Commander Jim Steve says. That sounds like a Southern name. Jim Bob, Jim Joe, Billy Bob,
yeah.
Jim Steve. Once a person or their family members sign up, Vitals will provide a free beacon to be worn in shoelaces, watches, or necklaces. When police come within 80 feet of a beacon, their phones are alerted. Well, I had something like that, but it was called a radar alert. I did. I really did.
Yeah, that's great. That's great that there's an alert there. I can just imagine, get everybody in the old folks' home to have one. They'll go by and their phones will be ringing so much they can't get any calls.
Well, my radar alert worked really well because technically they were illegal. Okay, but that was a long, long time ago. Anyhow, I have to look through some more of these before because I kind of winnow them out. Some are funny, some aren't. I'm quite surprised at how fast the time's running down here.
Yeah, we got 7 minutes left, Art.
Okay, well, once again, quick reminder, one of the world's greatest labor-saving devices is, I'm sorry, I forgot. Yeah. And say it with the most sincerity you can fake.
Yeah, and if you can say it good enough for sincerity, then you can possibly, stay married too. I finally broke down and I told my wife that I went out and got a carry concealed license. Of course, I didn't get a gun. I just want the license, so I can show it off. But no, get a gun? I mean, that's dangerous. I don't want a gun. I just want to show off.
It always amazes me. Everybody has a thing about guns. You can't have guns. You don't even stop and think about the fact a knife and a fork at the dinner table are dangerous. It's anything can be a weapon if you think about it that way. So, perform a radical cranialectomy and, take a hard look around you and just grow up. Having a gun doesn't mean that much. It means you can shoot at somebody a little bit farther away. But how many times have you seen that in a police report? Suspected assailant was hit 37 times and never hit a vital organ. People with guns, they don't mean nothing. I mean, I can't get into it too much because I've been in some good places, some bad places, but when you get right down to it, if you're really that afraid of a gun, then you gotta, your fear is placed in the wrong place. In a 20-minute drive today, I saw 3 drivers that could have gotten somebody killed through inattention, not thoughtlessness, sitting there doing whatever instead of paying attention to what's ahead of them down the wheel. And don't forget, you can actually be charged with assault with a deadly weapon if you accidentally hit somebody, because that is a 2 or 3 ton missile, depending on which car you have.
Yeah, and if you want to take care of your cars, bud, get those 2x6s and 2x8s and 2x10s and put them over the bumper, put them over the side, and you'll look so outrageous that everybody will be afraid to drive next to you. You'll never get hit at all. It's like, carrying the umbrella and it doesn't rain,
I've got to disagree with you, John. People are so freaking lame nowadays. Everybody's, I'm the most important person in the world. So, I'll just do whatever I want and everybody else got to accommodate me. Bull.
Yeah, and at least, I know I'm not an important person in the world, so I just laugh about everything,
Well, that brings up something else, sort of. If something happens, hey, you're not always a victim. Sometimes you're just being a jerk and you deserve what you get. There's been times when I've, shall we say, injured myself unnecessarily or unexpectedly, and I stop and I say, wow, that was a stupid thing to do. I should have known better. I didn't think. Well, think.
Years ago, I had call for a refrigerator at a school. You know, I worked for the public schools fixing their air conditioning, refrigeration. And I didn't want the food to go bad. So I kind of rolled through a stop sign, and a policeman came over and stopped me, and he wrote me a ticket and all that. And I told him, you know, look, I'm trying to keep the food good. I don't know if and he says, do you have any weapons in that van? Here I am driving a work van. I got cordless drills in there. I got utility knives. I got hammers.
Should have told him you had donuts in the refrigerator.
Hammers kill more than anybody else. I had crowbars, you know, and I kind of looked at him and paused for half a second because I was thinking maybe I'd, you know, tell the truth. And then I said no.
That's kind of how I feel. Like, should I tell the truth? Nah. And it don't matter who I'm talking to.
Yeah, well, we're rolling down to the last 3 minutes, folks.
I didn't want to derail your train of thought. Sorry.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, it's you know, I just looked at him, you know, and of course I learned the trick. You go down to the judge, and you just go in there and say, Judge, I don't mind paying the fine, but may I please have no points on my record? And they gave it to me, no points, so I didn't get an increase on insurance. So it let you know what they care about. They just want those ticket funds coming in.
But do you know why? Here's the deal. For a lot of offenses, if you you just get a fine, but like no points, for example, the money doesn't go to the state. It stays in the local municipalities. If they are to put you through the whole, basically a trial process, and give you points on your license, at least some of that money has to go to the state. So it's just a method of keeping more money in the local municipality, which I don't really have a problem with.
Well, you know, let's do a quickie now. Our new governor says she's going to do 45 cents a gallon on gas tax, and that's going to raise about $1.25 billion. And she only wants to put $700,000 towards it fixing the roads. She wants to nearly put 40 or so percent of the money to something else, and she's not even telling me what. I might as well be married to her.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, number one, that's what every politician does. Instead of using their heads and stopping and thinking, they're like I said, they're lazy, they're thoughtless, and not just politicians, pretty much everybody nowadays. You know, engage your brain, give it some thought. There are better ways, especially in this state, to raise the money to at least get the road stuff started. But why in the world do they not go back and go after the people that should have been voting money for the roads for the past 20 years? These roads have been slowly going downhill, and nothing has been done. And all of a sudden, oh, I got elected, I'll fix the roads, give us more money. I don't think so, Vern. We almost done?
Yeah,
I hate to say it, but
we're almost done. But the thing is she doesn't want to tell me where she's going to put $500 million, and that scares me. Okay, folks.
Politicians just scare me.
So yeah, we're gonna get a constitutional expert in here one day, and that ought to be a real good joke. So here we are, and here's the end of the show. Thanks for watching or not watching.